What is going on, guys? Welcome back. In this video today we're going to compare the performance of GPT 3.5 with that of GPT-4 by using ChatGPT to implement a quite complex machine learning project. So let us get right into it. Alright, so what we're going to do in this video today is we're going to try to use ChatGPT in order to complete a somewhat complex machine learning project. And for this we're going to use one-time GPT 3.5 and one-time GPT-4, and we're going to compare the performance. We're going to see if any of those two models will be able to complete the project. And the project will be, when I say somewhat complex, I mean somewhat complex for the AI. I don't think it's super complex for any experienced Python programmer, Python developer, machine learning engineer, whatever. It's going to be a simple Python application with a graphical user interface where we have a canvas that we can paint on. We're going to draw handwritten digits with our mouse, and those are going to be classified by a model in the background that is trained on the MNIST dataset. So the MNIST dataset is a dataset full of handwritten digits examples that are labeled. So the AI is going to be trained. So now not the ChatGPT AI, the AI in the project is going to be trained on this dataset, and it will recognize our newly handwritten digits using its intelligence that it gathered from the data. That's the basic idea, and we're going to try to make ChatGPT implement the full project. Now, of course, we as a human agent here, or I as a human agent here, will provide some guidance. I will say this doesn't work. Maybe we have to change a couple of aspects, but I want to just see how much better ChatGPT with GPT-4 is compared to ChatGPT with GPT 3.5. Now, one thing here as a side note, as of right now, you have to have GPT Plus or ChatGPT Plus in order to be able to use GPT-4. So you will have to have the premium subscription. And even then you are limited, as far as I see here, to 25 messages every 3 hours. So let's see if that's even enough. Otherwise, we might have to, stop it then. So we're going to start with the default. We're going to just say a very basic explanation. I'm going to start with the same explanation for two models here, for both the models here. We're going to say, I want to build a Python application with a graphical user interface. The idea is to have a canvas that I can paint on and a button that takes the image from the canvas and feeds it into a machine learning model in the background that classifies the image as one of 10 possible handwritten digits. Now, actually, it's not classifying as handwritten digits, it's classifying as digits, but I think when I add handwritten in front of it, it knows what I'm talking about. So what I want to make clear here is that this model, this ChatGPT model, has to implement everything. You have to implement everything from scratch. You need to train let's provide the model. Let's say it's going to be or actually, let's not provide the model. Let's see what it picks. You need to train a simple machine learning model on the MNIST dataset. And then you need to build a graphical user interface that allows the user, I'm repeating myself now, I know, allows the user to draw new handwritten digits and to feed them into the model for prediction. Oh, actually, I didn't want to send this. Let me just edit this here. Provide the code. Now we want to submit that. You can see it's way faster when you have GPT Plus or ChatGPT Plus. So it gives me the basic, actually it wants to use a convolutional neural network. Okay, I don't know if that's going to work well. But yeah, let's see. So this is now just the graphical user interface. but it didn't train the model, right? So let's just see here, nevertheless, if that at least works. So I'm going to open up PyCharm here. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this GPT-3.5.py. And I'm going to just copy paste the code without changing anything. So this should be just the graphical user interface, and I cannot even draw on it. So I cannot even paint on it. This is already a failed task. The question is now, are we going to just regenerate the response, or are we going to try to give some guidance? Because this is completely off. First of all, I cannot draw. Second of all, the predict button goes to predict, but it doesn't really do anything. It just takes the canvas postscript. I don't know if that's even a code base I want to be working with. So I'm going to try to see if it can come up with something better if I hit regenerate response. As an AI, oh. Yeah, I don't need a graphical user interface from you here. But okay, now it starts doing some TensorFlow stuff. It's pre-processing the data. It's getting it from Keras, which is also something that works. However, actually it is importing Keras. It's building this convolutional neural network. It's compiling the model. It's fitting the model. And then it's doing the prediction. I think this is better to work with. So I would say it's better, but I need still a graphical user interface. So what we do here is we train a model. Let me just maybe see. We have here X train, Y train. It's not evaluating the model, right? So what I could do here is I could just copy that, or I can click just here, and I can see if that model performs somewhat reasonably. Why can I not start this? Somewhat reasonably on the testing set. So first of all, let's see how long it takes to train. It takes quite some time. Maybe I don't want to do this here. Model evaluate, I think it was evaluate in Keras, right? Model.evaluate X test Y test. Let's just briefly look at the code. I didn't look at anything here. So basically train test split of the data. We get the train data. We get the test data X. We scale it. So we just normalize it here. We reshape it. 28 pixels times 28 pixels. We convert the result into categorical, which is fine. We have the simple convolutional neural network. We compile it using the Atom optimizer and categorical cross entropy, which makes sense since we have 10 classes. This actually looks kind of good. So I'm going to let this run. Maybe I'm just going to give it 5 epochs just to see if it goes into the right direction. I know that 15 will improve the performance, but I want to see that if after 5 epochs I already get a decent result, because then we know, okay, we're on the right track. But I think this looks promising. So I'm actually impressed that it did that somewhat reasonable, but I think the graphical user interface is going to be harder. So what we want to do here now is we want to tell it to build a graphical user interface around it. That looks good. But now build a tkinter application around this. In this tkinter application, I want to have a canvas that I can draw onto with my mouse. And I want to have a predict button that takes the canvas image, scales it down so that it is compatible with the model, and outputs the prediction. Actually, I forgot the step where we feed the prediction into the model or the image. What does it do? It takes the image, scales it down so it's compatible with the model, feeds it into the model, and outputs the prediction. Let's see if that works. Now, what did we get here as... Oh, I'm a genius. I didn't print the result. That's perfect. But we can see training accuracy here was 98%. So let's see what we get here on the evaluate. And let's see what it does here. Oh, this is a graphical user interface. So we have the model that it now just assumes that we saved, which we didn't because it didn't do that. But I think this is something that I can add. It's not too dramatic. I know that when I have the model, I can just save it into the file. It then loads that file. And then it creates this basic... Oh, it actually bound the B1 motion, button 1 motion of the mouse to the draw function. So this looks like it could actually work. this could actually work. So I'm going to just copy this. We are going to need to have a second file for this. So I'm going to create a new file, GPT-3.5_2py. Here I'm going to have the whole graphical user interface. We still have the predict function here, right? So we need to also import NumPy. Let's see what we get here as an accuracy though. So on the test set, we get 98%. This is good. So the model it trained was actually very good. This is great. We also want to import TensorFlow STF. And other than that, we should have everything here. Now what we want to do, and for this I will have to train the model again, but maybe I can just train it on 2 epochs now. It seems to be very powerful. So we're going to have 2 epochs, and we're going to save the model. How do I save a model in Keras? With the save function, right? I'm not sure. What is the name that we have here? MNIST model H5. So I'm going to just take this and try to save this, and hopefully this is compatible. Now this will not be able to run now since we don't have a model, but once we have the model, it's going to run this. We have the labels here, 0 to 9, and I'm sure there's some syntax error here. I mean, this is underlined because the data type might be not matching. What is image actually? Self image is image new, and image is pillow image, right? Okay, so here we have now 98% accuracy. This is enough. Let's run this and see if it crashes immediately. Oh, actually it doesn't. And I can also draw onto it, okay? So it predicts a 3. Oh, this is very interesting and very promising. So let's run this again. Let's draw a 5. It predicts a 3. That's not good. Also, I would like to clear the screen when I do a prediction. Otherwise, I would have to constantly restart the application. Let's try something that's obviously not a 3. Maybe something like, what's the number that's the farthest away from the 3? I don't know, maybe a 7? Not really. Now it says it's an 8. The question is the model not performing well, or is the pre-processing wrong? I'm not sure about that because the model was actually quite accurate. So what I'm going to say here, just as a little extra feature, is great, please clear the canvas after clicking on predict. Okay, that's just a function, so I'm going to just copy paste it into the predict function here. This should be enough, I guess, to get it working. So let's try a 3. It says 0. Okay, this doesn't look like it's actually doing something intelligent. So what I would like to do here is, before feeding this image into the neural network, where is this actually happening? Before predicting, I would like to take that image and I would like to actually export it into a file so I can actually see what is happening here. Now, how do I do that in Pillow? Since I don't have any prepared code now, I have to improvise, but I think with the save function, test.png, I just want to see what we're actually feeding into the neural network, because the neural network was quite accurate. Cannot handle this data type, 11281. Okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong here, so I'm going to just say to ChatGPT, please export the file. Please export the pre-processed image into a file before doing the prediction. Self-image safe. I mean, yeah, but actually I want to have it saved after resizing. Can you save it after resizing? So it's resizing the image, resized image. Okay, let's see if that works. I'm going to just copy these 2 lines. But it's doing a pretty good job up until now, to be honest. even though the prediction doesn't seem to work quite well. It still cannot handle that. So yeah. Now, of course, I could now solve the problem myself, but the thing that I wanted to see here is, can ChatGPT itself solve the problem? So, of course, I could now make a tutorial on how to fix this, and now I could build the application myself. Actually, I have this application as a tutorial on my channel where I show you how to build your own handwritten recognition drawing system. But I would like ChatGPT to do it without me having to do anything. So what did it change here from array? Maybe let's just see if those two lines are different now. They're not. What exactly did change here? I don't know. But I also don't know what... Now it's not working at all. Oh, yeah. Of course it's not working at all because we have an exception. But I would like to know why the predictions are so bad. Because we have the right dimensions, I would say. And let's see. Maybe the brush is the problem. I mean... It's always predicting a 3. I don't know why that is. Yeah, so I don't know how to fix that. I would say the predictions seem kind of random. Are you sure that the correct or that the full canvas image is being passed to the model? Question mark. That might be an issue. I don't know. I'm just going to copy the code. I'm playing here in this tutorial now. I'm playing the brainless idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to think too much about the code. I expect ChatGPT to solve my problem because, of course, we're expecting this AI to replace us someday. So let's see if it's capable of doing that. I'm going to replace this function now. I'm just a brainless copy-paste guy. I don't need programmers. I don't need freelancers. I can just use ChatGPT. So let's see if that works. 5. Now I get something else as the output. I don't even get the prediction. Why is that? What is it printing here? It's not even printing the prediction. And it's not even changing the label to the prediction. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I should, again, delete this here. Maybe that's the problem. I'm going to give it one more try, and if it doesn't work, we're going to try GPT-4 to see if this actually is easier for me as an end user to just copy-paste code from GPT-4. Okay, it still goes for a 3, so we're going to just cut it off here now. Maybe at the end of the video, I'm going to take a look at it and see what the problem was. Now we're going to try the same thing with GPT-4. So I'm going to just scroll up here. I'm going to copy-paste the exact same prompt so that we keep it somewhat unbiased. I'm going to switch to GPT-4, and now we're going to see what it says. Okay, it already recognizes that we want to have a graphical user interface. It also recognizes that we want to train a neural network. Let's see if it can combine everything first try. So, okay, first it trains the neural network using NumPy. Why does it train that? Does it implement everything from scratch? Come on. Okay, I mean, this is kind of cool if it actually works in the end, but you could also just use TensorFlow, right? So, okay, it implements the activation function itself. It implements the forward propagation, the back propagation probably as well. So it implements essentially a neural network itself. So I'm going to tell it to stop because this is, I think, not a good comparison if this model now goes ahead and tries to implement everything from scratch. So I'm going to give it one more chance. I also gave a second chance to the first model. So let's see if it maybe doesn't do everything from scratch now. Okay, now it imports NumPy, TensorFlow. Okay, now it uses Keras. Makes way more sense than doing everything from scratch, especially because it's optimized. It imports everything. That's good because now we have the user interface and the machine learning model in the same application first try. I didn't have to say, hey, you forgot to train a model. I didn't have to say, hey, you forgot to build a graphical user interface around it. So what it's doing here is it's loading and pre-processing the data. It's creating a model now, which is a simple neural network, not even a convolutional neural network, but I think for this task, it even suffices to use, I think, k-nearest neighbors classification. It's quite simple. But definitely a linear support vector machine is enough. So you don't even need a neural network. I think even that sometimes linear support vector classifiers could outperform neural networks here. What do we have here? A canvas. It has this classify button, the clear button, which also I didn't mention that I want to have a clear button, but it recognized that. Let's see if it's able to bind the event, or did it already do that? No, it didn't do that. It now binds the event B1 motion to draw lines. I don't know why draw lines. Why not just draw? I'm not sure what it's going to do here now. Takes the event and creates an oval, which is basically just a pixel, I guess, with a brush size R. Yeah, let's see what it does. But it looks very promising, and I didn't have to do any of the stuff that I had to do in the first model, because here I had to say, first of all, the prompt, then I gave it a second chance, then it only trained the model and implemented a not working prediction function. Then I had to say I want to have a graphical user interface. I also had to tell it that I want this done with tkinter. It was not as comfortable. So if this works first try, that would be great. The problem is now it's not writing the full code. So let's just copy the first section here. But this is not because the AI is stupid. This is because I think there's a character limit. GPT-4, I'm going to import everything. I'm just going to copy paste now all these sections like a complete newbie would do it. But I'm still going to keep the conventions here. Now we loaded this, then this. Digit classifier graphical user interface. Okay, this is a class. I didn't even notice that. So I'm going to tell it now, continue with the code where you left off, the clear canvas function. It even recognizes that it truncated. So this is something that I also have not experienced necessarily with. Oh, this is very impressive, because up until now, every time I told ChatGPT with the old model to basically continue, it started rewriting the full class, which is very annoying. And now it even just continued here, which is actually impressive if it works. So I didn't look into the code much. Let's see if that just works. Now it says here model is unknown. Why doesn't it know the model? Did we even train a model? We didn't train a model, right? Okay, so it doesn't do everything. It takes the data, it processes the data. Actually, I copied this twice. Did I skip something? Oh, sorry. This is my fault, not ChatGPT's fault. It actually trained the model, and we also have the model, and we actually get it. So I was the idiot here, not the AI. And now if I run this, let's see. I'm very curious now. 5 epochs of training, pretty good accuracy already. Graphical user interface, I'm scared of this. 5. Okay, it cannot predict classes. Sequential object has no attribute predict classes. I think this is just one function that I need to change, then it might work. So where is this predict classes? Predict classes. It's here. I think it's just predict, and then it should work, right? If everything else works, this is just a function name that was not correct. But it's actually impressive. I just provided the base prompt. I didn't do any clarifications. Now if this works, I'm very impressed. Classify. Okay, we have another problem. It's not showing. Oh, actually in the title. Okay, this is not exactly what we want. We want to get the argmax of that. But I think this is not too much to actually ask for. The code looks great. There is just one problem. You need to use, or let's let's not give it, let's say the predict classes function does not exist. Also, the return value looks odd. I am expecting a digit, not a list. Let's see what we get here. It should be intelligent enough to figure out what's the problem. Predict classes function is not available. Instead, we use the predict function. That's correct. Here's the modified classify handwriting. I hope it also takes care of the problem that we're getting a list of softmax results. There you go, argmax. Okay, I'm impressed already. Let's copy that, and I think this should actually solve the problem. I think this should work now. We're going to have to train it again. But if this works after just one little adjustment, this is super impressive, especially compared to GPT 3.5. So this is now the graphical user interface. Also, you can see that the brush is way smoother. It actually works. Classify prediction 2. Okay, this does not work. But maybe that's just one example. Classify 2. Doesn't look too good. Classify 3. Okay, so the prediction does not work. We need to figure out why that is the case. So I'm going to try to do maybe 2, 3, 4 more chats with ChatGPT. If it doesn't work, we're going to just say, okay, it performed better than GPT 3.5, but we had to solve the problem with human intelligence. If it somehow can figure it out, I would say that GPT-4 is way better than GPT 3.5 because it actually solved the problem. We're going to try now to say, for some reason, remember, I'm a stupid idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. For some reason, the predictions are not accurate at all. What could be the problem here? Or maybe I should give it more information, just one more thing. The accuracy and the test score of the model are above 98%, but when I try to predict a number that I draw, it always gets it wrong. That is a little bit more information, so he knows that the model is actually not trained in a wrong way, but the actual user interface doesn't work. So issue might be how the image drawn is pre-processed. Yes, of course, that's probably the issue. Invert the colors. You can try the following steps. Okay, so now I have to do, okay, adjust the line thickness in the drawn image. Okay, what is that? SciPy and the image center of mass. Image ops. What is image ops? Did I import image ops? I don't have image ops. I don't know what that is. Now it's getting a bit crazy. I'm going to stop and I'm going to regenerate because this doesn't look like that's the actual problem. Let's give it one more try. Again, it's using SciPy. What is it doing now? It's subtracting. Oh yeah, basically it's inverting the numbers. So white becomes black, black becomes white. We could give it a try without thinking about it, but I'm not sure that that's the problem. But I didn't also look into the code yet. So right now, again, I'm still in the mode of not thinking about the code. I don't want to solve this problem myself. I want ChatGPT to solve it. If it doesn't do that, yeah, that's a little bit more evidence that we're not going to be replaced as easily, because this is also not the most complex project, right? So let's copy this. We have to replace this function, and where's the predict function actually? Or did I, oh, it split it up, right? So it said now we have pre-process image and we have classify handwriting, and we need to also import here now these two things. It still doesn't know pre-process image. Yeah, because it's self.preprocess image. I think I can do that for you. This is not too much of a big deal. So the accuracy is kind of good, right? So this shouldn't be the problem, actually. Now we have a problem. Takes one. Oh, because I didn't provide self. Or actually ChatGPT didn't provide self. But I think whenever it's a simple solution, you know, whenever a function name is misspelled or a parameter is put into a different, you know, if it's something that doesn't require a lot of intelligence to resolve it, I think that's fine. But if the fundamental logic of the problem solving is the issue, it's not that great. So come on, let me resize this. Prediction 5. Okay, this looks promising. Prediction 6. This looks very promising. Prediction 8. This looks very promising. Okay, prediction 3. This works. So now ChatGPT officially solved the problem. All I had to do is I had to rename this function here. I had to tell it that something doesn't work because I'm getting a list instead of values, which every user can do because, you know, you see the result that doesn't match. You also see the accuracy of the training process, but you can see that your images are not classified correctly. Give that information to ChatGPT. It is enough to solve the problem. So to be honest, I'm impressed because GPT-4, what did it need from me? It needed the base prompt to basically create the full program with a couple of bugs. Then I needed to tell it that I'm not getting the right result format. And then I had to say that the digits were not classified correctly, but the training score was high. So that is the solution now. We're done. One thing that I want to see is if GPT-3 would be able to handle the same response. So let me just copy the last message here and feed it to ChatGPT 3.5. Data mismatch, overfitting, model complexity, drawing quality, model selection. So yeah, it basically tells me what I could try. It doesn't give me a solution. I can try to regenerate, but GPT-4 was way better. It just gave me the solution as code. So this is just one experiment. Maybe it's not representative. Now I messed up the model. Maybe it's not representative. Maybe I cannot draw a conclusion after just trying one simple project. But from this one simple project, it seems like GPT-4 is way more competent than GPT-3. First of all, because in the initial prompt, here, it skipped half of the task, building a graphical user interface around it, which is actually the difficult part for an AI model, because everyone can train, you know, everyone has trained a machine learning model, a neural network on handwritten digits classification data set, because that's like the hello world example of machine learning. Building a graphical user interface around it where you can draw the digits onto a canvas, you can predict by clicking a button, and you can clear the canvas. That's actually the difficult part for GPT. But yeah, so it skipped that. Then I had to tell it to do it. Then the brush was kind of odd and it didn't work so well because remember when I run this, or actually it's going to train the model now again. Okay, I'm not going to show this here again, but when I used the version from GPT 3.5, the brush was kind of, you know, we got points that had some spaces in between, whereas GPT-4 gave us actually a good brush and it actually worked. And when I told it that things are not working, it always provided the correct solution immediately. Now, not first try, to be honest, because here, or to be fair, because here it didn't work, or maybe it would have worked, but it was kind of complex, I think, and also this image ops was not imported. But GPT-4 seems way more competent, and it seems like something that can actually solve kind of complex problems. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. Other than that, thank you much for watching. See you in the next video and bye.